This is Jack Burton in the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there. It's a pretty amazing planet we live on here, and a man would have to be some kind of fool to think we're all alone in this universe.
There is a hidden world where ancient evil weaves a modern mystery.
What's going on here? Is this some kind of...
Magic. The darkest magic.
They call it Little China.
Finally, we shall bring order out of chaos.
It's where Big Trouble was waiting for Jack Burton.
Who? Jack Burton. Me.
Jack!
Jack?
Jack!
They told him to go to hell.
You make one move.
And that's just where he's going.
Somebody, I don't care who, tell me what is going on.
How are you gonna spring us?
I have no idea. There are many mysteries, many unanswerable questions, even in a life as short as yours.
My destiny rests in your capable hands.
Hey, I'll do my best.
Oh God, is this really happening?
This is gonna take Cracker Jack timing, Wang. 1, 2, 3. We may be trapped.
Total concentration.
Safety! Oh, yeah.
You ready, Jack?
I was born ready.
Way to go, Jack.
Jack Burton's coming to rescue your summer.
Hey, what more can a guy ask for?
20th Century Fox presents Kurt Russell in John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China.
It's all in the reflexes.
Welcome to the Mad Dad Movie Review, a podcast for first-time movie reviews starring Mads and her dad.
I'm Mads.
And I'm her dad, and this is Mad Dad Movie Review. And we are back. It's been a couple weeks. Decided to take last week off. Have no fear, though. I do have plans for RoboCop. Not gonna just flat out cancel that one. We will be checking in on RoboCop in another episode. So, that being said, we just decided to take last week off, wrap up September with Big Trouble, which we're doing with this, and then next month, October, Halloween, big month for us, so stick around. So yeah, that being said, how's you doing?
Good.
How have you been?
Good.
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 How many times are you going to repeat me?
Oh, I don't know. I can do this all day long. That could be the podcast. Just
That'd
saying
be annoying.
good.
I probably
good,
wouldn't listen
good.
to that kind of podcast.
So things have been good. I can't complain myself. Got that new deck. It's coming along. Other than that, I've just been
Got my new room without a door.
You're welcome, by the way. So, Mads, what did we watch this week?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Wait, you know what? Before we even get into that, I forgot to let people know where they can find us. They can listen to our previous episodes on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Stitcher, and wherever else you enjoy your favorite podcast. You can follow us on Facebook.com at
Mad Dad Movie Review.
Instagram.com at
Mad Dad Movie Review.
and Twitter.com at
Mad Dad Movie Pod.
Jay almost forgot. YouTube at
Mad Dad Movie Review.
And also, you can email any questions, comments, requests, whatever you got. Email them, maddadmoviereview@gmail.com. And that being said, what did we watch this week?
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. Oh, I love this one. What were your first impressions of Big Trouble in Little China?
Confusing.
Confusing?
Yeah.
This is one that I grew up watching. I can't pinpoint my first time seeing it, but I was very young. I actually have memories of watching this on video at my old house in White Marsh, so that would put me at like 4. I remember it. I don't know. I mean, this movie does a lot of things that just stick with you. A lot of visuals, so to speak. I remember the very last scene. It's always like just stuck with me. So I don't know. I've seen this movie a lot. Kind of like a lot of my favorites. I can't put a number on it. At least a dozen. I love the hell out of this movie. So yeah, that being said, nitty gritty.
So let's get down to the nitty gritty.
So Big Trouble in Little China was released July 2nd, 1986 from 20th Century Fox. It opened up in 12th place against Karate Kid Part 2, Ruthless People, Top Gun, Psycho 3, and Disney's The Great Mouse Detective. Opening weekend grossed $2.7 million. It ended up totaling out at $11.1 million on a budget of $19 to $25 million. So, initial run back in the 80s didn't make money. Lost money for the studio. But over time, I guarantee this movie's made its money back in then, so guarantee it. You got VHS rental and sales revenue, you got DVD sales, you got Blu-ray sales, you got the Scream Factory acquisition of the new Blu-ray they just put out. I know that helped with making the. I mean, 20th Century Fox is now owned by Disney, so I don't really see them hurting for money. So this was directed by John Carpenter, produced by Larry J. Franco, written for the screen by Gary Goldman and David Weinstein, music by John Carpenter and Alan Howarth, edited by Steve Markovich, Mark Warner, and Ed Warshilka. Yeah, got it. And of course, John Carpenter film, so the cinematography was done by Dean Cundy. Starring Kurt Russell as Jack Burton, Kim Cattrall as Gracie Law, Dennis Dunn as Wang Chi, James Hong as David Lopan, Victor Wong as Egg Shen, Kate Burton as Margot Litzenberger, Donald Lee as Eddie Lee, and Susie Pai as Madilyn. Tell me what you thought overall about this movie. Because, let me say, watching this movie with you the other night was fun as hell because your reactions were just gold. Like, I've never heard you say, what the hell is that? Like, what the hell? Not literally, you didn't say what the hell, but in so many words you basically were like, what the hell is going on? Like, what am I watching? What have you done to me? This is going to be a fun episode. So tell me, like, what'd you think?
Very confusing. Like, I understood what was going on, but it got confusing when they were doing one thing at one point, they turn around, and it's a whole nother thing.
That happens a lot in this movie. You think you're
Yeah.
watching one thing, and then something else happens, and then it's a totally different genre
And it
altogether.
just loses your mind at some point until they put it back on.
I mean, what is Big Trouble in Little China? Is it a comedy? Is it an action film? Is it a horror film? Is it a martial arts film? Is it a drama? Is it a kids film? Is it fantasy? Is it sci-fi? It's got literally every element you can think of.
Mainly, there's a lot of comedy in it, but I feel like it's a comedy and thriller.
No, to me, this is an action comedy. this is up there with some of the great cult
Isn't
films.
action and thriller the same thing?
No.
Oh.
Thriller's like you're more suspenseful, like serious, like, you know.
Then yeah, comedy and action.
Yeah. So. Okay. Cool. So why do I love this film? I'll tell you why. Because it was a childhood favorite of mine that plays and acts like a video game. I love this film because green eyes are better than blue. I love this film because I too enjoy betting double or nothing on a chip bottle, on a chop bottle, as a last resort bet against my friend. I love this film because of the reaction Jack gives when firing off the gun for the first time. I love this movie because of Jack's face when he goes backwards in the wheelchair. I love this film because may the wings of liberty never lose a feather. I love this film because, boy, it sure is raining cats and dogs. I love this film because the Coupe de Villes do the theme song at the end. Big trouble in Little China, yeah. This movie's great. I love it because it's just a unique roller coaster ride of a film. And finally, I love this movie because it's on the reflexes.
It's on the reflexes.
So, Critics Corner. Don't really have much. Didn't really take notes of the critics, like specifically what they said for this one because, not gonna lie, I kind of half-assed my research when it came to that department. But I do have some. Rotten Tomatoes. I have the scores. Rotten Tomatoes score of 78% from 45 reviews. It's got a Metacritic Metascore of 53 from 15 reviews, and an average Letterboxd score of 3.7 out of 5. So yeah, I mean, the general consensus of the film, mixed reactions. Some loved it, some hated it, some didn't understand it. Others are like, okay, another run-of-the-mill film from John Carpenter. Next. I mean, you know.
I understood it, but at some points it can get confusing until you get back on track, but...
Yeah, of course.
I understood what was going on. Like, it tries to take your mind places to be like, oh, this is what's going on. But then they try making you think this is what's going on, and they don't focus on the main thing, which is trying to get Wang, is that his name? Wang, is that his name?
Wang.
Yeah, Wang's fiance back. That's like the main thing that they're doing.
Well, let's just break it down then. Let's let's try something different. This format for this episode, try it, see how it feels. We're just gonna go down top to bottom and discuss and talk about the movie. So, the movie starts basically. You got Jack Burton in his truck, driving around rainy night, monologuing, talking like John Wayne. He's got. Did you pick up on that? The way he talks, like it's like this. Hey there, pilgrim.
Yeah.
He talks like a cowboy.
Thinking about until you said it, but
I was intentional. Oh yeah, it's good stuff. So yeah, Jack Burton starts with him, and after the monologuing, he's works over, and he's betting. He's gambling with a bunch of other truck drivers, as well as his friend Wang. What ends up happening, more or less, is Jack makes out pretty good, wins the money, wins Wang's money, and
Wang goes broke.
Wang's broke, and so like a last ditch effort is he's got this bottle and a meat cleaver, and he's just like, I'll bet you double or nothing I can slice this bottle, no issues.
I would, yeah, that's it. No.
So Jack takes him up on the bet, and what happens? Slice down. It doesn't shatter. No, it shoots over to Jack and just instantly, just quickly grabs it. All in the reflexes. Great reflexes.
Jack's
exactly.
a funny guy.
Yeah.
It's all in the reflexes.
So then he's got no money. Here's Jack, and even though he has no money for him, he still goes on and asks for a favor. The balls on this guy, I tell you. So he asks if he could take him to the airport, pick up his fiance. To which Jack, he reluctantly does it, and they go. And so now we're at the airport, and this is the scene where, okay, so
This is where it gets confusing.
Jack, this is where we meet Gracie Law, Kim Cattrall's character. Jack's eyeing her up. Gracie's there to pick up her friend, who happens to be. I should also take note. This is like China. It's not. This is in San Francisco, but it's a lot of Asians because it's. I think this is a flight from. I don't know where the flight's from, but the movie takes place in Chinatown. So it's irrelevant to what I'm even saying. So the friend. So Jack's there eyeing up Gracie. Gracie's there picking up her friend. Wang is waiting for his fiance, who is coming off, and then there's this gang who is there to kidnap Gracie's friend. So what ends up happening is Jack inadvertently gets mixed up with everything because he's
Jack's trying to get Gracie.
Yeah, he's trying to be, sway and slick. Meanwhile, this is all going on.
He doesn't know
The girl and the guys end up taking Wang's fiance instead. So now Jack and Wang are after this gang who have Meow in the back tied up. So there's a chase scene. Jack and Wang are in Jack's big truck, and they're driving through the alleys of Chinatown. And this is where a funeral is taking place. And this is where the action kicks in, because this funeral is taking place.
Confusing.
And then the funeral, yes, it does get confusing. So then the funeral gets pretty much ambushed by two rival gangs. You got the Chang Sings and the Wing Kongs. And they're fighting. And then they're literally, Jack and Wang are literally in the middle of this. Like,
no one's even paying attention to them. No, like they're just
in the truck. All this is going on. Then all of a sudden,
confused.
We're all confused. And all of a sudden, to add onto this pile, these three gods come down out of nowhere. One guy he's full of lightning.
Another's rain, because it's rain, thunder, and lightning. That's the three.
Yes, exactly.
Names, yeah.
And so what we got now is Jack and Wing trying to make a run for it in the truck. And this is where we see Lopan. This is where we meet the film's antagonist, Lopan.
That's where it gets confusing. They all of a sudden turn, and then it's the people who stole.
Well, no, because Jack runs him over. Remember? Jack takes in his truck. He runs over Lopan, and then
Lopan.
Yeah,
he did.
Nothing happens. Basically, they end up running away from the truck, but on foot, away from this fight, away from all of this, and then that's
Turn a
when
corner and
he runs into Eddie.
Yeah. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, and this is where we're also introduced to Egg. And they're just pretty much regrouping now in this. I'm assuming it's Eddie's home, or it might be Egg's home. But they're just, hey, they're
somewhere. They're like at a restaurant.
They're safe.
Yeah, they're away from everything until Gracie all of a sudden just barges in the house like it's hers.
Yeah, she comes like. I don't even know where. She just out of nowhere. Here's Gracie Law.
Jack's like, she can't get enough of me. It's like, no, but
and me as a viewer, I'm just over here like, really?
She doesn't even know the people.
So this is where Kim Cattrall just more or less inserts herself into the plot, and they come up with a plan. They have to get in. Jack has to, in order to get through. Jack has to get disguised, and he goes to see these women, these China women, and because that's where Meow is held up. Remember, she's tied up in that room. So this is where Jack comes in, and he's just dorked out, dressed to the nines. He's got his hair parted to the side, big thick dork glasses, this like heavy, big brown suit.
You remind me of the guy from The Babysitter, that movie. When he's in school, I forget his name.
The Babysitter.
The Babysitter, the horror movie.
Oh.
I forget the kid's name.
Yeah, he does wear that suit, but Jack's wearing like a full suit.
Yeah.
Not just the coat. So then the three guys that came down from the sky during the fight earlier show up here again. And this is where they actually take her.
That's when you find out they're bad guys.
They take her, the fiance, and they dip out. And then this is where they go in to. This is where the pretty much the video game, as I'm watching it, begins. So then Jack and Wang go in, and it starts from there. So
Morgan. We get introduced by
Margot,
not Morgan.
Yeah, so
Morgan.
let's talk about this Margot character. So then Margot shows up around this point, and she's a reporter. Was she working with Gracie? She just enters the movie like Gracie, like out of nowhere. Like, who are you? Like, I know who she is. She's from the show Rescue Me. But, like, the character, like
she just barges into Gracie's office. And everyone else is confused. And Gracie's like, oh, she's the reporter. She's my friend. It's like, wait, what? Like,
yeah. Exactly. All right, so this is where Jack and Wayne go. And then, help me out here. They go in the first time, and then
they make it.
I know they make it.
Yeah, they go in there.
Refresh my memory, because I'm thinking of a bunch of stuff right now.
They have to they go in there. They have to act like they work there. Like, oh, this is a late night shift. Like, they go into a room. They find a secret passage that leads to an elevator. The elevator starts filling up with water.
Yes, the water elevator. Yup. Okay.
They go out. There's like dead bodies just hanging in there. They get out. And I'm pretty sure that's when they got caught from.
They get caught because this is where they're over the water.
They're over the water
with the bodies, and they look up, and then it's not Lopan. Who is it that it's one of the three? It's Rain or Lightning.
I think it's
one of the three gods.
I'm pretty sure it's Lightning.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Lightning. Lightning finds him.
And that's when, because he's got the red ball, and he's just hitting him with it. He's like making the red ball like blast at Jack, like he's getting punched. He's not getting punched. He's just, this ball is doing all the dirty work for him.
Because it's definitely not Rain.
And he's beating the crap out of him with this red ball. And then this is where, how do they escape this?
They took too long, so Gracie and I forget who else. I know Gracie was there. Another person. Wait.
Probably Margot.
No, it was not Margot.
Was it Eddie?
It was
either Eddie or
Eddie. It was Eddie.
Okay, yeah.
Eddie goes in there, cause he gets caught. Him, Gracie, Margot was there. Him, Gracie, Margot get caught. I know Jack gets out because he had a knife.
The knife.
So they get out. Thunder catches them, and they lock Thunder in the room, and then that's when Jack goes down the stairs with his funny face.
No, he's not in the wheelchair yet.
He is in the wheelchair.
This is he is.
Yeah,
That's right. They're in the wheelchair at this part, and he goes down and makes that. And yes, exactly. So this is where we're formally introduced to Lopan, the film's villain. Funny guy, James Hong. He's got the old makeup on in this scene. That's right, the old makeup, and he explains, why he wants Meow, and that's in the green eyes. He explains the significance of the green eyes, and then the chair. So then after this, you're really doing a good job of helping me recite this movie, because the first half is always like, I've never actually like thought about the movie in sequential order before like this.
I understood it. Yeah.
So, yeah, pull it up so I have something to reference as we're doing this episode.
Right here's the cast. That's what I have so far.
Okay.
It's on the reflexes.
So then what happens at this? They get out. So the wheelchair breaks, right? Is that how... Not the wheelchair.
No. What happens is, I remember, so he goes
Thank
down
you.
the stairs. There's a tunnel. It's like a... I forget what they're called. Oh, wishing well. It's not a wishing well, but it's a well.
Mm-hmm.
He gets stuck there, and he's about to fall over, but somehow Jack's strength, he uses it to pull the chair back up.
Yes.
And then he jumps out of the chair, and the chair falls back.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. So, real quick, going back to when we're introduced to Lopan. So, Lopan, as I was mentioning earlier, the green eyes. What that means is Lopan needs a special green-eyed girl to break an ancient curse, and that's why he's after Meow. So, apparently, centuries ago, he was a great warrior and an even greater wizard, and he was defeated in battle by the first emperor. And with that defeat came a curse, and that's why he is the way he is, and that's why he's got to marry a woman with green eyes. Man, this script is really deep. So, yeah, that's what they regroup with the group with Egg. Okay, I remember this now. So this is after this sequence, they regroup out of the place with Egg and the I think it's the Chang Sing group from earlier in the film.
Yeah, Wayne, Jack, Margot, Gracie, and Eddie. Those are the main people who were doing all this. Yeah.
And they go back.
Mhm. They go back because Gracie. No. Now I'm thinking no. That's later in the film when they get married. I can't remember.
No, they go. So this is when, on their way out, I remember it now. I don't even need this. I don't even need the notes anymore. So before they even get out and regroup with the gang and Egg, this is where Gracie gets kidnapped by our big furry friend.
Yeah.
Because it's when they're all leaving, and Gracie she's in the back of the group, and then she gets
you think
pulled
this
in.
is all gonna end, and then all of a sudden.
Well, you think you've seen it all in this movie? Nope. Carpenter throws in this big freaking random creature with a tiny face and a big bulky furry body.
Just to make this thing, the movie it's longer than you think. Like, it's an hour and isn't it like an hour and a half?
It's an hour and a half, yeah. So Lopan's gonna marry both of them now. At this
they both
point.
have green eyes.
Yes, and they go back. So this is the sequence. This is pretty much, this takes us to the end. And the big hall room with decked out all around with 80s glowing neon and a freaking escalator, like a mall escalator in the middle of this thing. But you got the escalator, you've got the wall-to-wall neon. I mean, this room is screaming 1980s. So this is where our climax is going to take place, in this room. There's a big fight that's going to happen. One of the three gods ends up getting killed with a sword. Another one ends up blowing himself up.
Thunder got blown up. Lightning got stabbed with a sword. And I forget what happened to Rain.
Which one gets all big and blows himself up, like spontaneous combusts?
Thunder.
It's on the reflexes.
No. Yeah, it is Thunder.
Thunder.
Okay.
lightning, he wouldn't.
A lot of fighting going on, and then all of a sudden, this Lopan and Egg, they have this fight, and it's like their rings and their powers, and their rings are like this. Their rings showcase this warrior, and they're clashing in the light during the ring phase, while all this like big battle is going on elsewhere with everyone. I didn't even touch on a bunch of stuff like Jack in particular. Let's talk about Jack for a second, okay? Jack's not even the main character of this movie. He's the most popular sidekick in film history. I swear to God. He's not the main character of this, but that's okay.
You would think he is because he's the main on the
to the general public. Yeah, he is. But to the story, Wang is the main character. This is Wang's girl.
It's Wang's fiance.
Exactly. And Jack, he's got the heavy cowboy John Wayne accent that Kurt Russell's going for. He's got this gnarly tank top with this badass Asian design on it, which I need to get that. I really want to get that. I think Fright Rags actually sells that shirt. And he's just random. He's funny as hell. He doesn't know how to fire a gun.
Oh, it's fun. He uses one hand and just goes for it. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's not how you just says two and you have to aim. He doesn't aim, he just goes for it.
He's incompetent as hell, okay? There's one fight scene where he knocks himself out before the fight even starts, because he shoots up in the air and all the ceiling just falls down and rocks and hits him and knocks him out.
Everyone ignores that. Everyone just goes on.
And that's the final battle, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is.
They're all starting, and Jack's just
well, that's the main huge battle. Yes. The other one. There's one with
what?
There's one I remember because in the end, Wang is getting chased by Thunder, and that's a little mini fight, but the last main huge fight, yes, is.
And there's also this floating eye.
There is, and that connects to.
It's Lopan. That's how Lopan can see, because he's getting ready for his wedding. And that's how Jack and all them get found, because the floating eye finds them, because Jack is like, oh, what is that? And then you see your Egg go, it's Lopan. And then they're just talking together and having their dialogue and whatnot. So yeah, this big fight happens at the end, and then basically, the Lopan goes to kill Jack by throwing a knife at him. Jack catches the knife really quick and throws it right back at Lopan and hits him in the head. And it's all in the reflexes. So that's how, in the end, Jack wins the big fight and kills the bad guy, is with his reflexes, with the knife.
It's all in the reflexes.
And then, that's when Thunder finds Lopan dead and gets all pissed off, swells up and blows up. And then basically that's about it. Jack finds his truck. That's right, he's after his truck too. So Jack finds his truck, and then they bust out and go back to Wang's restaurant. And that's when this big celebration's happening at the end. Eddie and Margot appear to be a thing. Wang and his fiancée are united. And then you've got Jack and Gracie.
And they have the most. They have a weird relationship. It's like a love-hate relationship. They kiss in the awkwardest scenes. And then at the end, Jack's leaving, and one of them says something about coming. I'm pretty sure Gracie's was.
No, she mentioned having room in his truck for two, and he kind of shoots it down. And it's like, yeah, it's not how I operate, blah blah blah. And then Margot goes, aren't you gonna kiss her? And Jack looks at her and goes, nah. And yeah,
Gracie, I feel bad for Gracie.
They don't have that final moment like everyone thinks, you know.
It's weird. It's a love-hate relationship. It's
I kind of like it.
Yeah, there's some scenes where
it's like
they're in love, and
instead of a final kiss or whatever, it's just I'll see you around, maybe, you know, one of those. It's good stuff. I like it. It's different. It's unpredictable. And then basically final scene, you got Jack in his truck, and he's basically monologuing again, talking in his inner John Wayne.
One more confusing.
And then the creature that we mentioned earlier.
The creature's on the truck the whole time.
Creature pops up out of the back of the truck. The creature is in Jack's truck.
Where did the creature go from?
Unbeknownst to him, and that
it just cuts. Nothing else.
And that is that. That's Big Trouble in Little China. So, Madilyn.
Yes.
Let's do this. Who is your unbiased MVP pick for this film?
I think Jack. Jack's not like the main character, and that's usually who like I'll pick. But Jack's just funny, and I don't think I've ever met a character this funny in one movie. Like,
he's a jack of all trades. Yeah. he's a lot of things. I just love the character and just what's the word I'm looking for? Just this performance of Kurt Russell's, what he brings to the table with this Jack Burton character.
I couldn't think of any other character to play as Jack. Like, I just couldn't see another person playing.
And it's funny because it was something that this was a movie that basically the way it was made was it started as a script that was being shuffled around in the early 80s. Fox caught wind of it, but they didn't like how it was too like martial arts. Mm-hmm. It wasn't what they wanted. Mm-hmm. So basically they got a couple guys to rewrite the script, and then around that time is when they got Carpenter involved. Carpenter at first was like, yeah, but that script sucks. Not to mention it resembles The Golden Child, which was an Eddie Murphy film that came out the same year that basically has the same plot as Big Trouble in Little China. And the script got changed. It got tweaked, obviously, to Carpenter's liking. He signed on. He gets involved. He brings in Dean Conde to shoot like he does for the majority of his films. And then the character of Jack Burton, the studio, Kurt Russell was like an up-and-coming actor, but Kurt at first wasn't wowed. And it took some convincing from Carpenter. But, I mean, because Carpenter worked with Russell in the past. He worked with him on the Elvis movie in 79, and then in 82, The Thing. So this was, they were familiar together, Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. So that's how he got brought on. And while the subject's up, he also happens to be my unbiased MVP pick for this. I can't think of anyone else.
Yeah.
It's Kurt Russell, hands down. This is his movie.
Yeah, I could see other people picking Wang or...
I
could see it.
Kurt, it's Jack Burton. This is Jack Burton's movie. This movie, when they think of this, one of the first things you think of is Kurt Russell. It's just the way it is. It's also a movie that, I grew up watching it a lot. But there's a lot of movies that are like that I grew up watching. Doesn't necessarily make it a good movie. But I would say that, yes, this is a good movie. It's a little out there, but that's what I like about it. I want something different, and that's what essentially Carpenter does with this movie. and I think that's one of the reasons why I like it so much, is for that reason. It's different. What's your Be Kind Rewind moment?
One of the elevator scenes, because I remember there was an elevator scene, and it's not the water one. It was with Jack and Wang, and they were in an elevator with other people. I forget who.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, and as they were going down, Wang and Jack they're just talking to each other, and everyone else is silent. It's an awkward scene, but it's funny in my opinion. And I could rewatch it and think to myself, like, why isn't anybody else talking? But then it's like, well...
That's different. Alright. Mine's the funeral earlier in the alley. I've always thought of that. I mean, I've always enjoyed that scene. It starts off... It's pretty much the scene that kicks things off for the movie. When I think of this movie growing up, that's the memory that I think of, is rewatching that scene. Not so much over and over, but that's like the scene that pops out. That was the scene that I always liked the most as a child, and harkening back to it now as an adult, having watched it 2 nights ago, yeah, it's still my favorite scene of the movie, is the funeral, and it's also an introduction, so to speak. Your double feature pairing.
This is like the only, like, I guess you can say Chinese kind of movie that I've actually seen. Asian movie. Oh, I thought it was because they're in Chinese town. Anyways, Asian movie that, like, I've seen without, like, an argument, because usually I'll be like, no, I don't want to watch it.
Right.
So I chose Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You know what? I'm not even mad at that. I'm not. I actually kind of like that. Think about it.
Because, you know, the scene where lightning's coming down, we're introducing, look up, and it looks like the homes from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
They also, that's where the character Raiden came from
and I was like, hold up, wait, is this a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film, or is this a...
Is the Foot Clan gonna pop out of nowhere? Where's Super Shredder? No! They're babies!
So, something that...
Is Vanilla Ice gonna pop out and all of a sudden just go ninja, go!
So yeah, this is like...
Go Burton, go!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a movie that I've actually seen that I can compare it to.
Burton, rat! Burton, rat! Oh shit, that's part 2. Whatevs. I don't care.
Still Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The movie I like to go along with this that I picked is another Carpenter Russell movie, Escape from New York. It's alright, hear me out. Well, after I watch this, I'm still in that Carpenter mood, and he's done so many movies of Kurt Russell where it's like the 2 primo Carpenter Russell, the 3 in my opinion. You've got this, The Thing, and then Escape from New York. And having just watched Escape from New York recently, yeah, I can see myself in the future having a double feature with that and this. Absolutely. So, for all those reasons, yeah, my double feature pairing for this film is Escape from New York, also from John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. That leaves us to, finally, star power.
At first, when I was watching it, I rated it a 4.5. That's why it's on my paper. But now talking about it and like remembering the movie more, I think I'd rate it a 5. Knowing how like
you
funny
do realize what a 5 entails. 5 is perfect. This bitch is perfect.
I would introduce this to my friends.
Okay. I would introduce maybe I gave a 3 to my friends. What's your point?
Why?
Because even though it's a 3, doesn't mean it's a bad movie.
I know, but
an average film is still a good film.
5, it can be part of my favorites.
I'm gonna remember that.
For me, 5 means it could be part of my favorites. I think it's a funny movie. I don't see anybody else who can play the characters they chose for this movie. I don't see anything wrong with it. I didn't have any questions. I understood it. I didn't have any...
Hear me, as long as you have reasons, you're good.
I'd introduce
you
this.
Justified your
I'd introduce this
rating.
to my friends just to confuse them, but yeah.
I'm comfortable giving this movie a 4 stars. That's how I rated it in my letterbox. That's how I'm gonna rate it today. 4 stars. That it's an excellent movie. It's not perfect, but it's that.
It's on the reflexes.
It's that sweet 80s like mixture of just you've got the cheesiness, you've got the 80s synth music, you've got the cheesy dialogue, you've got the character Jack Burton thinking he's the shit when in reality you're just some slappy sidekick, but it doesn't matter because to us he's the hero. But in reality, he's a sidekick. I mean, Jack Burton,
If like one of my friends said, "Hey, what do you want to watch tonight for like a Friday movie night or something?" I'd be like, Big Trouble in Little China. Let's confuse the crap out of you tonight.
We're gonna confuse you tonight. Oh man. I mean, this movie does have a legacy. Like I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I mean, it's got a huge cult following. It's also one of those movies that have been rumored to be remade for freaking ever and ever. The latest I heard was Dwayne Johnson was in talks to be Jack Burton.
What? The Rock?
Keep in mind that was like a year and a half ago.
I was gonna say, wait, no. The Rock is not
could The Rock
playing.
still do it? I mean, I don't see why not, but I personally don't want to see this thing remade.
I don't want to see.
I don't think this film warrants a remake. This is a movie that's kind of like
It's like an original.
it's its own
movie,
thing,
yeah. And hearing Dwayne Johnson, no, I could not. I couldn't see Dwayne Johnson in a movie like this.
You see Dwayne Johnson like, The Rock says it's raining cats and dogs. It's like, no. It's like, no, homie.
He's more of a serious guy. I don't think he'd be in a movie like this. Just doesn't know how to shoot a gun.
Yeah, exactly. See The Rock like, boom, boom, boom,
The
boom,
Rock has
boom.
had so many action movies with a gun, and all of a sudden he just doesn't know how to use it.
Nope.
Just no. Anybody else but Dwayne Rock Johnson, maybe, but no. I mean, a guy that played in a Disney movie. Just
I don't know, dude.
I don't think they're remaking. I think these are just rumors, and if it does, I'll be shocked myself. This is a movie I don't want to be remade.
You and me both. So.
I don't see it. Yeah.
So now, I think that about closes the book on Big Trouble in Little China. And that also takes care of the month of September, which means we are now entering the month of October. And with October comes Halloween, and
Meaning
with
horror
Halloween
movies.
comes horror movies, and with horror movies come first times, and with first times comes this podcast.
And I'm pretty sure in October we have a different schedule, don't we?
Yeah, but all that's up.
Thursday.
That all that's up on the social medias and stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and go through it again. I mean, I'll talk about the first.
Yeah.
We have October coming up. The first film we're doing is surprise, surprise, another childhood favorite of mine. Nightbreed, Clive Barker's 1990 horror fantasy film. But we will be watching not only Nightbreed, but more specifically, we will be watching the Cabal cut, which is the director's cut. But it was the director's cut of Nightbreed, which hadn't seen the light of day until about 5 years ago or so. So it's on Prime. So that's how we're gonna.
It's on Prime.
It's on Prime. So if you guys wanna watch and so you have something to be familiar with when you're listening to the episode.
It's on Prime.
It's on Prime. So yeah, that would be the next episode, and then after that, it'll be our 10th episode. And
we're going to be doing something different for every 10th episode.
Yeah,
different.
10th. We're going to do something different.
Yeah, like
but
we're not. We won't. Do we have to get into it now?
Oh, screw it. It'll be a top 10 list. That'll be the
Nothing crazy.
That'll be the top 10 favorite horror movies since it's fall in October. And we figured, what the hell, just knock it out.
What are we going to do? Top 10 action movies in the middle of October.
I bought that for $1. So let me remind everyone while we're on here that they can listen to previous episodes on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, Breaker, Stitcher, wherever else you listen to your favorites. Follow us on Facebook.com at
Mad Dad Movie Review,
Instagram.com,
Mad Dad Movie Review,
YouTube.com,
Mad Dad Movie Review,
and finally Twitter.com.
Mad Dad Movie Pod.
If they want to ask us any questions, if they want to give us any comments, suggestions, requests,
@gmail.com.
What's the email address?
At Mad Dad Movie Review.
How about Mad Dad Movie Review at gmail.com. MADDADMOVIEREVIEW at gmail.com.
Oh, I was like, did you just say MADD? I'm like, it's not Maddie, and then I realized, because I thought it was Maddie and Dad. At first, I was like, wait, what?
So that is where you can find us. That has been this episode. That has been... Take us out, Mads.
Oh, I'm Mads.
And I'm Dad. And this has been Mad Dad Movie Review. Alright, guys. Take it easy.
Oh my God.